You know, it sucks to know that despite so many efforts I've made, and I'm talking about so many great efforts that I've made in regards to, my home life as of recently, after what's been a major struggle in April and May, if you're talking about like a really high rate of mistakes and slash errors, if you want to call it. Since then, it's just been a real drastic turnaround to see that I've been with my very much increased awareness and the new responsibility that my parents are taking, day by day since mid-June. I feel like I've been progressing. I feel like my efforts have been very much better. I feel like some of my efforts have been excellent. And even just the past month of August, even the days leading up to what I thought was going to be a 3-week big break, despite all of that, despite just being heavily focused to get things done right, to have these efforts just be so much better than they were, all these past years, and even in the beginning of this year, leading up to, what would have been my worst months in April and May. If you're talking about, a high rate of made mistakes and errors. And since then, it's been a big time turnaround to see that, it's changed for the better, to see that all of that has very much lessened and has improved drastically. Talking about just big time improvement in my efforts, and a lot of things I feel like I got successfully done with my increased awareness. And now, like, going to the month of September, this is supposed to be the continuation of my 3-week big break, which eventually got canceled. And I already knew that from just the past week on. Actually, it's going to be exactly a week ago from today when I felt so devastated of the news that I heard that my 3-week break was going to be cut. So here we are. And now comes another really big issue that, unfortunately, at this point, it's just prayers at this point. Really. Nothing else left, just prayers. So my point is, despite all of that, despite these recent great efforts that I've made, in regards to, I'm not talking about my dump, I'm talking about my home life. Despite all that, despite such great efforts that I've been making after what's been a pretty abysmal April and May, where I just felt like I was not myself, and with just some anxiety kicking in both of those months. And after what I've been addressing with myself being the failure of a friend, which definitely just lowered my self-confidence, that led to those big time mistakes. And then when it got better, and when I suddenly started getting better and better, in June and July and August, where I've just made some really good efforts and some were excellent. Despite all of that, I would think I may be rewarded seeing the light in the tunnel. I may be seeing some light in the tunnel. Not that it's permanent, but at least I would have been rewarded with something that, even though temporary, it would have been like a real big vacation time for me, like a big vacation, That's why I said big break. I mean, not that I literally have, a 3-week vacation off my dump, but you know what I mean when I say that. It means finally having all the time to myself. Having all the time to myself and doing what I need to do to better my life, to better everything around me, better myself, and just have more fun for myself. Just taking a break from literally selling my soul to a lot of the stuff that I've been doing in my home life. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean when I say break, because it's just something that I need big time. And unfortunately, it's just sad to say that all these efforts that I've made has just led to just more disappointing results. I'm not saying that my efforts are not appreciated. No, I said the efforts that I've been making, these efforts I've been so proud of myself for, these great efforts, for some reason, they've been leading to an undesirable outcome. And just like what I just mentioned in my last couple of videos, the fact that my 3-week big break has been cut. It would have happened now if it wasn't for, the fact that it got cut. And my shoot-around game that was supposed to happen, yesterday. And that got canceled as well. And the next thing you know, do I really have to say it? I mean, I'm just gonna keep it real general because, like I told you, I'm not someone that's gonna try to expose like all kinds of personal details. I'm not like here on my channel. I'm not about that life. I only do so on other sites where people can only sign up and log in to see the content. Like a Patreon, for example. I don't know. I heard you have to pay for that site, but I don't know. I've never tried it, but some guys I know, like Dreamers Pro and Turo for TV / Turo for sports, use Patreon to talk about their content. Their unfiltered, their raw and unfiltered content, which I would like to do, but since this is YouTube, or it's just it's like I really want to say it, but I can't. I gotta keep it general. Not that I'm like violating the, not that I'm breaking any rules, but I'm talking about like certain details that I don't want to expose. So in this case, like, I'm just gonna keep it general. One of my beloved ones is going through a life support at this point, and I'm gonna keep it at that. I'm just gonna say beloved one. So that being said, it's just a critical time right now. Just a critical time for prayer, and just hoping that and I'm not someone that likes to prepare for the worst things to come. I get that's what people are saying, like preparing for the worst has happened. I'm not like that, especially when it comes to preparing for death. No, I don't do that, because when I do that, it makes me feel more sad, and whether it's going to take long or not, and if eventually it would happen. But the way I see it is, I always like to see this person live. You know, that's just how I perceive things. Like even when it comes to death, you know what I'm saying? I'd rather see those people live. I'd rather see, my loved ones live, whether it's my friends or family members or, just relatives, any of my loved ones. I'd rather see them live. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of those many people, or if you really want to say many people, that do believe in miracles, right? I do believe in miracles. I do hope for miracles. I just believe in miracles just like that. So anyway, just getting back to the main topic here, it just really sucks, like all these efforts that I've been making, and I'm talking about just from straight focus, just wanting to make sure things are right and making sure that everything is looking right, and just lessening the stress load in my home life, and to the point where I would finally be rewarded with what is, something that I pretty much deserve. Even if I thought this was going to be, a long break where I can finally enjoy myself without having to worry about anything around me, without having to worry about so much activity around. But that's not the case. Like I said, it's just, these efforts have just pretty much have led to very undesirable outcomes. And it's like what I just mentioned. It's just not fair. 3-week big break cuts short. Then shoot around getting canceled. And now this. Like, going to the month of September, I know it's only the 4th. Yeah, I know. It's my 13th year in my dump. No comment. And I know I had a really, really poor shoot-around game. I don't know how I missed that many threes. I don't know if it was just my stroke was off or whatever, but it is what it is, My apologies for all of that rage that I had on the court. I know I still have the home court advantage for the upcoming birth season tournament. I'm just saying I did not like the way that I played, considering that this was easy, and I know it was the IU birthday game that did on the road on her actual birthday in May. That one I did much better. Well, I did okay, just enough for me to win. And here it's just I don't know what happened. So anyways, just to close this off, I don't know at this point, dude. Like, I know this weekend's gonna be stressful. I can tell you that much. And I just hate to look forward to see just what may be just more and more unlikable, undesirable outcomes for me, despite all these efforts. And it just makes it feel like I hate to say it. It almost feels like I've just wasted my efforts just to see more of these undesirable outcomes. When really, I was literally excited for the 3-week big break. Hell, I remember, as I'm taking a walk right now, I remember I was talking to Eugene and the boss, and I was so excited just talking about the plans for the next week, about Dewey's birthday, and just next thing you know, I remember when I turned on, I looked at my watch and it was already 10:10. I was like, oh shoot. I was that excited, right? Even the week before the 3-week big break, I was just so excited. Now all of a sudden that gets cut. I just feel like so many unexpected things just happen. And especially for me. Unexpected in a not so good way. I get things happen, but this is not what is desired from me. Because unfortunately, just when I thought I would see any temporary light in the tunnel, for me to do what I need to do, whether to enjoy myself or to really enhance my graphic design career, you know, it's just it's just back to reality so fast, and now the reality is just getting worse, and I'm just seeing more darkness in the tunnel instead of the light, despite all these efforts. It's almost like you're just trying to dig out a bunch of these rocks and to climb your way out, and next thing you know, you're still seeing so much darkness. It just sucks. It just really sucks. And I'm sorry I had to do it again to my friend circle, as a result of all these undesirable outcomes. I didn't want to do it, but I had to, because I could not allow myself to still stick around, especially in these group chats where my stress level is way too high that for them to still see me at my worst. So, but I'm doing my best to not lose any hope, but at this point it just really feels like, I don't know how much hope is left, especially if it means for a while. That's just how I'm looking at it. It's just I've already gone through enough darkness, in my life this entire year. Okay, I've been doing my very best to get out of it, especially with these recent efforts where I finally just able to break off my anxiety that I had in April and May, and then this. It's like the efforts just for more of these dark moments to occur. Boy do I really wish I had a happy life. That's gonna be a while, dude. But I know I'm still gonna go with one mission only, the main one, and I know I still gotta do it. And especially because I'm not ready to just go another full year in that dump. So I gotta keep doing what I'm doing, or else my life will even become even bigger hell. I'll leave it at that.